Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe so you can catch a spill every week. Also like and comment because I heavily consider your engagement when thinking of ideas for future videos. Now, we about to get into the craziest mix-up Hulks. Like, it's a lot of them, man, and I know it's well over 30. And I'll leave a rundown list like in the description below. So if you're ever in a tight jam, you need to name a bunch of Hulks. Like if you're out with your girl and y'all watching Thor Ragnarok, she's like, ooh, baby, name me a bunch of Hulks. Just put your earbud in, play this video, and repeat after me. I got you. Alright, so you know we got to start off with none other than the OG, Robert Bruce Banner. Now, when this Hulk first appeared, he was gray, but that was more of a printing issue, and I'm going to get back to that in a little bit. Now, Banner transformed into the Hulk after being exposed to gamma rays from the gamma bomb. And this all happened because dumbass Rick Jones wanted to play the harmonica in the test field. And Banner saves his life by pushing him into a ditch, getting him out of the blast radius. Now, nobody knows exactly the contents that were in the gamma bomb because a lot of it Banner kept to himself, and he didn't really share with the other scientists working on the project, which is one of the main reasons why it was a long time before anybody could repeat the process or duplicate it. And that's Banner's main continuity origin. But elsewhere in the 93-90 universe, Banner never saved Rick, so Rick ended up becoming the Incredible Hulk. But in the main continuity, that's not the case. He got saved and was later turned into A-Bomb, which I really didn't count as a Hulk, but I figure I mentioned him anyway. So next up's going to be Grey Hulk, or Joe Fixit. Now earlier when I mentioned the printing issues from the first issue of Hulk, Stan Lee wanted Hulk to be gray, but when they printed it out, he was a different shade of gray in each page of the issue. Like one part he was light gray, one part it was dark gray. So he changed it to green in the second issue, and it just worked from there. Now when it comes to Joe Fixit, his moral compass is a very gray area, no pun intended. But he's more calculated and more manipulative, and because of that, he doesn't reach the raw levels of strength that the Green Hulk does, being more savage and impulsive. But instead, you're more likely to see Joe Fixit put a plan together and use some sort of weaponry as well with it. Not to mention, you'll find him posted up in a super huge suit. Alright, so next up on the list is Red Hulk, whose true identity is General Thunderbolt Ross. Now what I really like about Red Hulk is when they first introduced him, nobody knew who he was. And I'm not talking about like one mystery issue or nothing like that. It was like 2 years, man. Nobody knew who he was. And I like how they did it that way because it made it more of a page turner to when the origin story came out in 2010. You're like, oh, okay, that's what he did. And I'm not going to front like I guessed it right away, but leading up to when they had him just appear in 2008, I always felt like something like this would always be the perfect payoff for General Ross and his obsession with the Hulk and wanting to own that power. So as far as abilities, Red Hulk is super strong. He's not unlimited strength like Green Hulk is, just that the madder that Red Hulk gets, the hotter he gets. He also has Hulk-like healing factor and energy absorption. So now the way he got his power was mad shady because he teamed up with MODOK and Lyra. And that was solely out of desperation because no army, no military forces could be any match for the Hulk at any point in time. But in the initial arrangement, he ended up losing his daughter Betty, and when he went back, he made another deal with them and they turned him into the Red Hulk and brought Betty back as the Red She-Hulk. And when she first appeared, it was a total surprise. She flanked the confrontation between Red Hulk and Wolverine that was going on already. And this threw Logan off too because he was like, who are you, She-Hulk, after a few shots? And she goes on to tell him, no, I'm a much smarter and stronger version of that. And bites him in the face immediately. Like, what's up with biting people in the face? I don't get it. But as far as abilities in this form, they're pretty much identical to General Ross, being that they originated from the same source, which is also MODOK and the leader. So for our next Hulk, I'm going to go with Jenifer Walters, the original Green She-Hulk. Now, Jenifer got her powers through a blood transfusion that Bruce had to do just to save her life because she had been shot and she lost a lot of blood. You would think it would cross his mind the effects of doing something like that, but hey, it's a comic book. So now when Jenifer transforms into the Hulk, she's fully aware of her actions and what she's doing. She can completely form sentences, so on and so forth. But when they initially introduced the character, it wasn't like that. She was more of the mindless brute, kind of like Banner was. And now our next Hulk is going to be the Green She-Hulk from the 1610 universe, which is Elizabeth Ross or Betty Ross. Now in the 1610 universe, the Hulk didn't come about with a gamma bomb. It was more of a super soldier program. And this version of Betty injected herself with the serum as part of her plan to stop Wolverine from going to kill Banner. And injecting herself was like a last resort because they had finally modified and tweaked the serum for better results. But before coming to this conclusion, she did at least try to get either Iron Man or Captain America to do this, but they both refused, so she had to go on this mission herself. Next up on our Hulk rundown is Aboriginal Hulk. Now, on Earth 58-163, this Robert Bruce Banner is son of Dr. Brian Banner, who was also a gamma scientist. And I want to say it was believed that since his father was exposed to so much gamma radiation, he had a fear of it passing through to his son and his son becoming a mutant. But years later, Bruce Banner grew up, became a scientist as well, and worked on a desert base with General Ross, is where the incident happened where he turned into a Hulk and destroyed the base, fled into the ocean, and just washed up on Australia amongst the Aboriginal people. And this all lands in the House of M storyline as well. Like Magneto even sent out an invitation to Banner thinking he was a mutant, but he declined, preferring to live peacefully among the Aboriginal people. Now, the next one on our list is one of the Hulks that I think has the dopest background story, and that's Infernal Hope. Now, check this out. So, in the 1/1638 universe, Bruce Banner becomes Sorcerer Supreme. And when he does, he separates himself from the Hulk and sends the Hulk to hell. And it's a wild story, man, because when Hulk gets out, he's literally angry as hell. And yes, this is a Peter Parker cameo in hell for those in the comment section who want to point it out. Just want to make sure I mention this one. But long story short, Hulk gets out, approaches the Sorcerer Supreme, and they have a duel to the death pretty much. And so the next Hulk we'll cover is Hulk as Captain Universe. And many people have taken up this mantle, but it's pretty much whenever the Unipower chooses someone when there's an imminent threat. They're given the power, they do what they need to do, and it moves on. And so next up, we got Maestro from Future Imperfect. Now, I got a confession to make. For the longest time, every time I looked at Maestro, I would think of Groundskeeper Willie from The Simpsons. For whatever reason, they just felt like the same person to me. But anyway, Maestro is a future version of Hulk in Earth 9200, and his reality takes place about 100 years in the future. Now, he has all the intelligence of Banner, but the radioactivity's kind of got to his brain, so he's a bit crazy at the same time. But aside from Future Imperfect, he also appears in Avengers vs. X-Men and also Contest of Champions. And so our next Hulk is also from the future. He's the old man survivor Hulk in Hulk The End series. Also the survivor of nuclear holocaust. This version of Banner was the sole survivor, so he was really like alone left on this planet. And he just had like this little camera orb thing that he would record into. It would also let him play back memories when he wasn't spending his spare time fighting off gigantic radioactive bugs. Yeah, it's crazy. And for the next Hulk we're going to cover on the rundown is Hulk 2099. True identity is John Eisenhart. Now this Hulk, like a few of these, I'll have to consolidate a little bit or this video is going to be like 3 hours long. Because this is one of those Hulks that has like a different versions of himself within the whole Hulkosphere. And at that point we're going to be talking about a Hulk within a Hulk and within a Hulk within a Hulk, which is like a whole inception of Hulks with too many Hulks, at least for this one. And I'd rather us indulge in the diversity versus get stuck in the monotony. But mainly the idea of Hulk 2099 is there a time in the future where they're recreating a lot of the heroes from the past. Next on our list is Lyra, or Savage She-Hulk. Now, Lyra is the daughter of Thundra and Hulk, and through the knowledge of the Genosha, she was taught how to tap into the frequencies of gamma radiation. And that's Genosha, not Genosha, just to be clear. Two different things. And she's one of the best fighters that you'll come across. She single-handedly took down the Dark Avengers, even telling Venom that he's not a threat because in the future, the Sisterhood has domesticated the symbiote. And she's able to do a lot of this with her little purple digital assistant, Biotica, which also has the full history of Earth. Next up on the list is Amadeus Cho, Totally Awesome Hulk. Now, Amadeus figured out a way to transfer the Hulk from Banner to himself in an attempt to save Banner's life. Now, this transfer granted Amadeus the power of the Hulk, but he still got to be careful not to lose control because he will turn into a more savage mode with crazy strength, causing more harm than help. Now we're going to take a turn towards the Ultimates for a little bit. You got your Ultimates Green Hulk and your Ultimates Gray Hulk. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these two because I did a whole video on these two alone, and I'll leave a link in the description below. But mainly what you need to know is that the Green Hulk came first, and he was a reverse engineered attempt at bringing back the Super Soldier, using a sample of Nick Fury's blood. Later, he re-injected himself with a sample that was derived from Captain America's blood, and that's when he became the Grey Hulk. Yeah, Ultimates are totally crazy, but I got the link below. Watch that video to get a better understanding on those two. Alright, so for our next Hulk, we got Tyrone Cash, or some would call the Black Hulk. Unofficially, of course, but in the 1610 universe, he was actually the first Hulk. He was a mentor to Bruce Banner. And of course, there was an incident at the lab. A bunch of people died, and he was missing, so he's presumed dead. But 16 years after that incident, Fury eventually found him just having a ball, time of his life out in Africa. So he sent Rhodey out there to go get him in a beefed up version of the War Machine armor, which is really your first War Machine version of the Hulkbuster. Next up on the list, we got Nerd Hulk. Now, Nerd Hulk is a clone of Hulk in the 1610 universe. He has all the intelligence and he also has the strength, but he really doesn't have that beast side that really made the Hulk unstoppable. And Cap was actually the first one to make that point, saying it was easier to subdue this Hulk than the real one because of that. And this Hulk was also more hesitant to engage in battle because he was just thinking too much, thinking about how he could die instead of just cutting loose and using that rage that makes the real Hulk unstoppable. But I will say that did all change when he became a vampire, because he started punching off heads. He didn't care no more. Yeah, that vampirism turned him out, man. Like he was breaking necks too. Like he just ain't care, man. Not at all. Definitely a nominee for the most savage award. And so the next Hulk we got here is Orange Hulk. And he appeared in the Age of Apocalypse storyline, and he kind of just popped up. I think he's solar powered, but I didn't find a whole lot of information on him. So we just gonna carry on to the next Hulk. And so now this next one is a personal favorite of mine. This one is referred to as Professor Hulk. Some call him Merged Hulk or just the Professor. And he's a personal favorite of mine because he appeared right around the time I first started reading comic books in the early 90s. Now, Doc Samson was trying to help Banner come to a resolve with the two Hulks that were warring inside of him. And it came to a point to where inside Banner's mind, he had visions of his abusive father. But when his mother manifested, that was a memory that was used to calm the beast and bring the balance. Because she referred to all three of them as her sons and said they should work together instead of fight, bringing about the first time you had a Hulk that could form full sentences and was fully coherent. Okay, and for this next one, after you think you done seen every color of Hulk, we got your Purple Hulk. This Hulk appeared back in your 1610 universe during the Cataclysm event. And Hulk being changed to purple was a result of him coming into contact with the Galactus swarm. And it's crazy too because they got on Hulk quick. Like soon as he touched down and was like Hulk smash and was finna tear stuff up, they just jumped and swarmed all over him and switched him over to do Galactus' bit. And the whole squad knew they was in trouble, and Ghost Rider just dropped the F-bomb. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we came across your Purple Hulk. And I'm not gonna front, had I not read this issue a few months back, I probably would have forgot all about this one. So now next on our list is Worldbreaker Hulk. Now this is hands down the strongest Hulk there is. His strength is unlimited due to how angry he gets the stronger he gets. And he's never been more pissed than this when he believed that the Illuminati had murdered his wife and his unborn child. And Worldbreaker Hulk is a continuation right after Planet Hulk, which pretty much set up the whole story to why Hulk was so angry and his strength went off the charts. Next up, we got Skaar, who is the son of Hulk and Kyra. Now, Skaar had a tough upbringing because he was believed to be dead, him and his mother, so he had to fight for his life his entire childhood, and he resented Hulk for that abandonment. So now the next few Hulks I got to kind of run through just because of issue of time, but if you guys want me to elaborate on any one of these, just leave the comments below, and depending on the popularity of each particular one, I'll do a video on them individually. So now, as far as like the old man Logan story, as far as that Hulk family goes, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. It's really just a story of two cousins who fell in love and procreated. So to spare the awkwardness, I'm just going to tell you that and leave the rest to your imagination. But just to run through a few more, in your 2149 universe, you got like your zombie Hulk and She-Hulk as well too. You pretty much got your zombie everybody in that universe. In your 19919, you have your Lizard Hulk, where Banner was also injected with the lizard serum. And then a favorite to many people, you got your HulkPool, which in this case, the whole Avengers team pretty much turned into Hulks. Ridiculous, right? And then you have Brian Banner, Hulk's dad, who comes back from hell, hulked out. But then don't forget about Xemnu from the 616, the living Titan or the original Hulk. And then you also got Skulk, who's a crossover from the Amalgam universe where Marvel and DC characters were blended together. So when Banner had his Gamma incident, Solomon Grundy just hadn't been wandering around there and they got merged together. And then you got your Wendigo Hulk, where Hulk was bitten by a Wendigo and then changed into one. And then you got Cosmic Hulk in the 616, who was actually just an android that Red Hulk tore to pieces. And then you got your Barbarian Hulk from your Hulk versus Banner series. But I'm gonna end it right here, guys. There's some that I kept off the list, kind of like your Abomination, who weren't quite Hulks but had Hulk-like features, or they're even relatives of the Hulk like Hirokala, but they don't Hulk out. But if you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button and comment below. Let me know if there's other Hulks that come to mind for you that should have been added to this list as well too. Just leave that in the comments below and we'll talk about it. I do have another giveaway coming up soon, so subscribe so you can be a part of that as well. And I also want to give a huge shout out to Jonathan Soul, who is our first official Patreon pledge. Huge thanks, Jonathan. Because of support like that, creators like myself are able to bring more content to the forefront for the whole community. You're doing us all a service. And I got all my links below for my Patreon and other social media outlets as well too. You guys check those out. And we'll do it again in the next one. All right, later.